Sophia was a widow in her mid-30s, raising her 10-year-old son, Zayn, on her own. After losing her husband, Fahad, in a tragic accident 5 years ago, Sophia had focused all her energy on raising Zayn. Her life had revolved around him, school runs, helping with homework, and making sure he never felt the absence of his father. Even though Sophia loved Zayn more than anything in the world, there was an unspoken loneliness that she could never quite shake. She hadn't realized how much she missed the company of someone who truly understood her until she met Ryan. Ryan was a kind and gentle man in his early 40s. He had been through a painful divorce a few years earlier, and like Sophia, he had spent a lot of time rebuilding his life. He wasn't looking for a new relationship when he met Sophia at a charity event one autumn afternoon. They had exchanged pleasantries and then moved on with their lives, but soon they found themselves running into each other more often at similar community gatherings. A friendship slowly began to blossom, and Ryan began to admire Sophia for her strength and resilience. She, in turn, found herself drawn to his compassion and his sincerity. But both of them carried scars. Sophia was hesitant to let anyone new into her life, especially someone who might complicate her relationship with Zayn. Her son was everything to her, and the thought of introducing a man into their lives again filled her with guilt. She was unsure how Zayn would react. Would he feel like she was trying to replace his father? Would he accept someone new? Ryan shared similar concerns. He had been through a messy divorce, and the thought of marrying again, especially with a child involved, made him nervous. He wondered if he could truly fit into Sophia and Zayn's life. His fear of judgment from society, as a divorcee now looking for a second chance at love, was overwhelming at times. Yet, as their friendship continued to grow, the possibility of something more became harder to ignore. As Sophia and Ryan grew closer, their internal struggles intensified. Sophia couldn't help but think of Zayn. He had lost his father so young, and she feared that bringing a man into his life would only confuse him further. Would he resent her for moving on? Could she even love someone again after everything she had gone through with Fahad? Ryan, too, grappled with his fears. He didn't want to rush into something that might not work. And yet, every time he saw Sophia, every conversation they had, he found himself wanting more. Still, the tension between them was palpable. Despite the emotional weight, they continued to meet, talk, and support each other through the little challenges life threw their way. And slowly, something beautiful began to blossom between them, a tentative, quiet love. One day, Ryan was invited to Zayn's school sports day. Zayn had been practicing for weeks, and when Sophia asked if he wanted to bring someone along for support, Zayn insisted that Ryan be the one to come. Sophia was hesitant at first but eventually agreed. The event was a success, and Zayn's 100-meter race was the highlight. Ryan cheered the loudest, offering words of encouragement that Zayn hadn't expected. When Zayn won second place, he searched the crowd for Sophia's face, but it was Ryan's beaming smile that caught his eye. After the race, Zayn pulled Ryan aside and said, "Thanks for coming. You cheered for me like you really cared." Ryan smiled and nodded, feeling a warmth he hadn't anticipated. It was a small step, but it meant everything. Zayn had begun to accept him, not as a replacement for his father, but as someone who genuinely cared about him. Over the following weeks, their bond grew stronger. Ryan didn't try to step into Fahad's shoes, but instead became a quiet presence in Zane's life, a mentor, a friend, and someone Zane could look up to. He never forced anything. Sophia noticed how much happier Zane had become, how he now looked forward to spending time with Ryan, and she began to see a future where they were all together, not as a replacement for the past, but as a new beginning. Then one evening, as they sat down for dinner, Zane broke the silence. He looked up at Ryan and, with a shy smile, said, "Can I call you Dad?" The words hung in the air for a moment, and Sophia's heart skipped a beat. She hadn't expected Zane to say something so profound, but it was the moment they had all been waiting for. Ryan, with tears in his eyes, nodded. "Of course, Zane," he said softly. Sophia, overwhelmed with emotion, whispered, "Yes, you can." The three of them, Sophia, Ryan, and Zane, formed a family, not defined by blood, but by love and choice. They had learned that second chances were possible and that it was okay to love again. They had found something new, something beautiful, in each other. Their story became a testament to the fact that life could begin anew, even after loss. Sophia, Ryan, and Zane were no longer just two separate people trying to navigate the world alone. They were a family, imperfect and beautiful in their own way, but stronger for it. And together, they showed the world that sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is open your heart again.